You guys ready for your headliner tonight? All right. I know you could do better. Are you guys ready for your headliner tonight? Awesome. That's the energy we need. Hey, this man got me started in comedy. Bindlestiff wouldn't be here without this man. And make it loud for Allan Samson Manalo.
Okay, all right. One more time for all the comics you saw today, please. Oh, man. All of them working very hard. And Patricia Dinglasan, who you just saw right now. Let's hear it for her, man. Come on. And Kyle. This is historic. This is a historic show, you know, but if you do have complaints, it is pdinglasan@gmail.com. So just... Oh, this is so cool, man. This always feels like home for me. This is great, and especially we finally, and thanks to Patricia and Kyle and all my Bwhaha, Barkada, DB, Rhoda, and Manny, that we had this happen right here at Bindlestiff Studio, the legendary Bindlestiff Studio. So it's home, and I feel just so good about that. A Filipino Comedy Festival. Oh, I'm sorry. Philippine X Comedy Festival. Yeah. I got chastised by this zillennial last year. You know, and look, I don't have anything against millennials. I really don't. You know, I really appreciate the activism at such a young age, that consciousness. But some of you are some arrogant motherfuckers. Let me tell you. You guys, you know, this dude, he came up to me and I said, "Yeah, you gotta be proud to be Filipino." He was like, "It's Philippine X. You need to get woke." And I'm turning 61 tomorrow, by the way. Thank you. My titties thank you too. Yes, that's right. I've got a nice pair. I got nice pairs, man. Not pair of pairs because they look like Bartlett's, you know, just Dejo if you're French. But I can't wait till I'm 70. I could cover my chest like that and go, "Hoy, my eyes are up here." But this guy said, you know, I need to get woke. And I was thinking, man, I'm turning 61. How can I get woke when I'm closer to get stroke? You know? And I had to try to put this guy in his place. And you know, for me, the problem is, like, why X? Why X? Philippine X? It doesn't make any sense, you know? There's other letters in the alphabet. Like, why not K, right? Then we'd be Philipink. Right? I mean, pink is it's beautiful, right? Pink, the sunset clouds, pink, that's beauty, right? You know, fun, pink champagne, that's fun, right? Strength, the vagina, of course, yes. But yes, you guys are all quiet. Why are you all uptight? Recognize the power of the poke, come on. Recognize. A poke will make you move a couch 3 flights up, man. Believe me, that's from experience, y'all. Just, oh, babe, okay, babe. Oh, it's a sofa couch. All right, great. Oh, your dad bought it for you. Oh, great. Yes, right after he met me. Okay, just great. Just yeah. Don't underestimate the power of the pokey. You know. And if anybody here have pokies, yes, yeah. That's right. Yeah, good. I'm good for you. Good for you, man. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility, of course, you know, right? I think you're going to rule the world very soon, okay? Yep. All you need to do in November is beat a dickhead and an asshole, and that's it, man. Yes, we will survive. We will survive. But another thing that I didn't understand is, like, you know, we're always, as Filipinos, we're always concerned about the way that we present ourselves. You know, for a while, back a decade ago, it was, oh, is it a P or is it an F? Is it Filipino or is it Filipino? And then after a while, it became, you know, Philippine O/A/XYZ. You know, we should just drop that altogether. You know, I had to tell this little woke child, you know, I said, I was like, yeah, why do you still, if you're so woke, why do you still call yourself Filipino or any version of that? Because that was derived from the word Philippines, right? Filipino, who is named after a fucking prince, right? Prince Philip II, right? So we, in a sense, are named after a rich white boy. That's it, what it is, right? All right? I mean, it could be worse. His name could have been Connor or something like that. Then they'd call us canaries. You know, it's just, there are canaries. They're invading Daly City. They're eating the cats. And I understand this whole thing, trying to find your cultural identity. It's very important, especially here in America where racism is the number one thing. So you have to be assured of yourself and be very proud of your heritage, And I was born and raised here. I was born and raised in Seaside, California, predominantly black neighborhood, of course. And so, we didn't have like Filipino studies back then, and for me, I tried anything I can grapple to try to be accepted as a Filipino. I tried to learn Tagalog, right? But of course, when you're a kid, the only thing that you retain are like all the words, the bad words, right? Especially the words for our genitalia, right? You heard some of it today. Really, yeah. And I love saying them because, yeah, and not to be bastos or I like them because they sound like cartoon characters, don't they? Yeah? Right. Yeah. Hey, Titi! Where's Kiki? Let's go get Pookie and jump on Susu. Pukeng keng, pukeng keng, pukeng keng. For the people that don't speak Tagalog, I'll translate for you. Hey, dickhead! Where's pussy? Let's go get snatch and jump on titties. Hey! And I tried very hard. I finally took a trip to the Philippines. I went to Manila. This is after like a couple of years of Philippine American studies at San Francisco State. Yes, come on. Let's hear it for. I see some of the professors sitting here. These are my heroes. I know Professor Dan Gonzalez is in the house, I think, too. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that motherfucker told me a lot, man, too. Allison over here, too. Professor Allison. Oh, man, you guys are the heroes. You really are. And people should recognize that. And after that, I was really excited to go to the Philippines, right? And my auntie even had a despedida for me, right? And I don't know if your auntie greets you the same way, but every time she sees me, even if I'm big, she goes like, oh, look at you, you're so tall now. I remember when your tete was that small. Just. And what do you say to that, right? I mean, thank you, auntie. I remember when your susu was up here. And Allan, you're going to be very popular in the Philippines, because you're American born, you're very popular. And she was so right, man. I got to the Philippines, I was so popular with the mosquitoes. Oh my gosh, man, they were sucking on my body all night, all night. I've never had that much sucking in my body in one night. Well, once, but I don't really want to talk about it. I mean, you would connect the dots of my body that would spell out bawal umihi dito, just right there. Eat at Allan's, But I love the Philippines. I learned so much, especially like around 3 a.m. is where I had my big lesson. Because at 3 a.m., this is what you hear in the Philippines. And it's not one. It's like 20,000 roosters going off. Balot, balot, balot. It's like every 3 seconds somebody's denying Jesus Christ, right? I was at the Last Supper, but I don't know him. I had a banana and a scone and I left, But in Manila, my first time in Manila was in 1995. I was already 30 years old. And very magical trip for me because it's where I met, sorry. I know some of you are going, what the fuck is going wrong? What's wrong with him? It's where I met my wife, Joyce, and Joyce. And I just want when I talk about her, I like y'all to see her face. So this is Joyce right here. Big part of Bindlestiff. Huge part. An amazing artist, amazing friend to me, best friend of mine. And I'm going to put her back in my pocket because she hates being on stage. But she's right here, right here. So I met her in the Philippines in a gay bar, believe it or not, just in a gay bar, and she thought I was gay. So, but she ended up coming to San Francisco. We dated a week there, and then she came to San Francisco. I kind of tricked her to come here, and then and we were together like 29 years, almost 29 years. And Bindlestiff is a big part of that. We didn't get to have kids. We didn't have kids, but Bindlestiff became our kid, our children, and many of the artists that came through here. Unfortunately, last year in January, she was diagnosed with stage 4. And by July, she crossed over. And now, I still talk to her. I make her coffee every morning. But it's part of the process of grief. And I know many of us, have probably gone through their own process of grief. And it's been over a year now, and it's still even hard. But I'm learning the lessons that I think is just so important. And one of the biggest ones I learned is that you do not get over the grief, right? That's not the objective. The objective is to live within that grief, right? And people have been so kind. They try to tell you things, and this grief, sometimes they don't understand how, they're trying to take away your pain, but they don't know what to say, I mean, I had this one guy, he was like, oh man, I'm sorry about your wife, I remember when my Chihuahua died. What the fuck? What? Now, sadly, the worst thing that somebody told me was actually an auntie of mine. I went and I was looking at pictures of Joyce, and she put her arm around me and she said, Anak, you have to let her go. The Lord has plans for her. And for me, I just could not take that. It made me so angry because I was like, well, was part of the Lord's plan to plant this kind of demon growth in her body? Was part of your Lord's plan to have poison go through her veins so that she could try to fight off this demon? Was part of your Lord's plan having me and her brother, who she loved very much, watch her as she dissipated slowly? Week after week, day after day, until she died. Is that part of your fucking Lord's? Because if that's part of your Lord's plan, your Lord is a monster. That's what I wanted to tell her, but it's your auntie. You don't talk to your auntie like that. I mean, she might have a heart attack and die in front of me. And then what do you say? Is that part of your Lord's plan? No, you don't. Now, the thing about grief is it hits you anytime, and I did my share of crying, and I still do. Every single day, every moment, I'm still with her, and I still go through it, and I don't mind crying, right? I'm not from that kind of macho mentality. In private, I cry a lot. In public, it's a little bit harder, and part of it is something traumatic happened to me in high school. My girlfriend in high school, she was a bit of a roughneck, and she broke up with me in front of her friends, and I started crying, and she said real loud, "Why you gotta cry like a little bitch?" And ever since then it's been hard. So I'll go around, I'll be crying on Muni and trying to control myself crying on Muni, but then I found out everybody cries on Muni, right? So just right. I'd be in IKEA, and then of course Joyce loved IKEA, and I would see the baskets, that she bought, and all of a sudden I'm just hiding behind a Billy bookcase, just bawling, just blowing my nose on a IKEA kitchen towel, 4 for $2.99, by the way. And you know how pathetic you look, just crying with your mouth full of Swedish meatballs. It's the definition of ugly cry. It really is, And it would get so hard. I'd be alone, and she passed away in our apartment, and she she made our apartment so beautiful because she wanted guests to come over, and you know, I've been making sure I honor that and water. I know about plants and shit now, you know, just but then it gets so hard, so lonely, so the pain is so unbearable sometimes. I don't know what to do. I start thinking, like, what is this point? I just want to join her. I just want to just end it right there, you know? And I was at my lowest. I was on the floor, and I remember I was just crying, and I'm thinking to myself, God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to end myself? How am I going to do this? And if I'm a little OCD, but then I started thinking, wait, did I clear my browser history first? Just, oh my God, I gotta have a garage sale or something, maybe, or just, I gotta hide my toys. Oh my gosh, I don't want my mom finding, what's this big flashlight? You know, just, why does it vibrate? You know, just, I can't have that happen, and then I'm just a coward. I just can't. You know, I don't want to buy a gun. I don't want to slit my wrist and be in a tub. You know, I don't want SFPD looking at me going, oh, that's tragic. Look at the titties on that guy, though. Just, you know. I read somewhere that multivitamins, you could off yourself with multivitamins. You know, I guess that's why they call it one a day. You know, just. But I know if I was to do it, you know, I made a sign even just say, everyone, you know, all the people who love you here, 988 is on there, and at the very end it says, Joyce will be pissed off if you do anything, you know. And she would be, you know, because I imagine this, you know, I fantasize all this, that I'd off myself, I'd cross over, you know, and then I'd see Joyce probably on a dragon because she loved Game of Thrones, and she's flying into this bamboo castle, right, and I'm running up to the bamboo castle, my titties are shaking, I'm running up, I'm knocking on the door, and of course, who answers the door? George Clooney, right? Because she always wanted to sleep with George Clooney, right? And I'm like, yeah, have you seen Joyce? And I show her a picture. Yeah, I don't know why I have my iPhone with me, but I show her a picture of Joyce, and he's like, oh, that's Khaleesi. You know, just Khaleesi over. She's inside. Just can you wait in the parlor? You know. So I go in the parlor, and then I see this castle's full of nothing but George Clooney's. George Clooney at different stages of his career. You know, just there's George Clooney, Ocean's 11 making drinks on the side. George Clooney from Brother We're Out Thou is vacuuming, right? There's George Clooney over there from Facts of Life. That fucker is there too. Then I look in the distance, I see this room, this big room with nothing but dirty toilets. And on her knees, scrubbing these dirty toilets, is Jennifer Lawrence. And I'm like, what the fuck is Jennifer? Then I remembered, she's the one I wanted to sleep with. So just... Then I see Joyce, man. She's getting a massage now, man. She's getting a massage from ER George Clooney. Right? And then she sees me. She gets up, you know, puts on her silk robe, and she comes up. She goes, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here for another 12 years. They told me something about multivitamins. I don't know. And I looked at her, and I just looked at her. I said, look at you, so beautiful. I just miss you. I just miss you. And then she, knowing Joyce, she would come up to me and just give me a hug and just comfort me, and she would pet my head. And then she'd just whisper in my ear, stop crying like a little bitch. Oh, man. I'm just going to end with this, and I know we have to clear the room because there's a sold-out show coming up here. But yeah, it's great. This is great, man. This is so wonderful. I want to share this because I think it's important for people dealing with grief. You know, I looked at Joyce's phone and looked at the pictures she took. She took a lot of pictures of me and videos of me, and there was one when we were in Maui, and she took these pictures of me just getting hit by waves, you know, and just laughing her ass off, and you know. And then I looked at it and I just realized that is me now. That's me, because when you grief, you find out it can be very you have no choice of it being transformative, right? It'll transform you. And I just know that, like, I felt like that bottle smashed against a rock and just splintered, all these shards of glass just floating and just getting grind by the sand and then floating again, then grind by the sand, and just takes a year, 2 years, 3 years until finally, I end. You know, this bottle, this glass ends up on the beach, right? And ends up the beach. It's smooth. It's sea glass. It's a jewel, right? And then some third grader on a field trip will come and pick it up and make a necklace for mom, right? You know, just, and I thought to myself, you know, that's what I got to aim for. You know, that's what I want to be, a necklace for mom. You know, so just thank you for listening, everybody. Just, I wish we had a little more time, but thank you very much. Once again, let's hear it for all the comics. I'll bring back Manny up here. Bless you. I love everybody. Good night.
Keep it going for Allan Samson Manalo. And while you're doing that, keep it going for Joyce Manalo too. Keep it going for her. Thank you so much for coming. Did you guys have fun? Hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming. Before we leave.